everyone. It's the first opening bell of the new year, 2025. Hope you had a very profitable 2024. Let's get the new year started. It's Monday, the 6th of January. And of course, virtually all markets around the continents and around the world are open for 2025. But let's just step back because we got Thursday and Friday last week as the first two sessions of the new year in the manner of speaking. That was Friday. Then, of course, you can see on the screen the Egyptian 30 starting the week as always on Sunday with 0.41%. That's the EGX 30 climbing slightly above the 30,000 index reading. On Friday, the Nigerian market got a second day, get waxing stronger, didn't stop even for a breather at the end of 2024 into the new year with 0.39%, 103,586. The BRVM took a breather of about 0.1% on the composite. The Nairobi stock market was roaring hot, 1.0% on Friday, while the GSE in South Africa was better by 30 basis points. That's taking the GSE close to around 84,800 on the all-share index. Just summarize the market on Friday. Let's get the groove all back into what's making the headlines. Let's hit the East Africa. Kenyan banks have raised their lending rates amid cuts on depositors' return. Remember, the central bank in Kenya under Dr. Kamal Tuja met with some of the biggest banks, Equity Bank and the rest, sometime late last year to ask why interest rate, lending rates of customers still remain highly elevated despite the central bank tweaking rates a little bit lower. So that is where we are right now. But the banks looking at lending rates, a little bit sticky to the upside. Malawi is turning to Tanga Port in Tanzania. And this is the deal already happened. And this is what I call the handshake across the regions of the continent. Malawi, just in Southern Africa, tapping what you call petrol import or fuel import from the port in Tanzania, the Tanga port. And that is the first vessel arrived around the weekend. And we say thank you for being a good neighbor for Malawi, which is a landlocked country around the northern end of the Southern African region. And the Comprehensive Africa Agri Development Program will be hosted in Uganda, January 9th to 11th. Today is the 6th of January. That's going to be happening before around the end of the week, Thursday, Friday. Keep that in mind. Let's move on. Uganda. Electricity tariffs are down 5.2% according to the agency responsible for electricity, that's the ERA. Some good news. Let's get on to West Africa. MTN, other big telcos are asking the government, well, technically, the industry regulator, the NCC, for 100% hike in tariffs. It's been a decade since the last tariff hike happened, and we've seen the Naira punched badly by the US dollar. Consumer spending, nosedive, inflation, highly elevated. The GDP whacked again by a cocktail of political and economic decisions by the government over the past 10 years. So the telecommunications are asking for 100% tariff hike. The regulator, the government is still saying, no way yet. How this will pace out is anyone's guess. The MTN and the rest have seen their figures, their results, their balance sheet dented due to exchange rates problem in Nigeria, liquidity issue, as well as Naira devaluation. Let's just move on. The NNPC, the State Oil Corporation, says it's restarting the overhauling of the Kaduna refinery and the second refinery in Port Harcourt. That was the one that was inaugurated around the mid-80s, by the way. The older one, which was built just before Nigeria's independence back in 1965, is being done already with about 65,000 barrels per day being produced. The one in Warri was also said to be commissioned and now up and running. And all of this, as we see the NNPC trying to reposition itself in Nigeria's fuel sector. And of course, by the way, the news is already on the street that BUA, which is one of Nigeria's biggest industrial giant in cement, food, and other things, says he's also looking to complete his own refinery, about 250,000 barrels per day by the end of this year. Well, let's see how it all plays out as we move into the rest of the year. This is just the cutting razor. In Ghana, the authorities has approved about 68.1 billion Cedis in 2025 mini budget. That will be what the new president, the comeback kid, President John Mahama, will be dealing with moving forward. Tulu prices went up. Of course, this came in through over the weekend because of the tax arbitration a deal which was done in favor of the oil company. $320 million is a tax that the company said, and this is very positive news for Tulu Oil. London Brent stays strong early this morning around $76 a barrel because of the Middle East oil prices. Saudi Arabia also been reported by Bloomberg now repricing its February oil delivery to Asia. Asia oil prices flow from Middle East and consumption and demand by Asia looks a bit steady, so prices are climbing on those optimism. Not a very bad way to start the year, by the way, while we keep an eye on OPEC, first meeting and first statement in the new year. And we move on to Southern Africa. And of course, the Goldman Sachs says this, is pulling back on the outlook that gold will touch $3,000 per bullion in the current year. News came in this morning that ArcelorMittal is revising its operations in South Africa. So some sort of type of workers will have to be rejigged, and the company is looking at a loss moving forward. You need to read up on that a little bit more. They got energy vehicle tax break may lure China to $27 billion industry in South Africa. And of course, I'm sure you've seen images of President Cyril Ramaphosa in an electric vehicle trying to promote how South Africa can use its mining industry to support the EV industry that is now the rave of the moment and the way to go in the future. Eskom, by the way, has connected the second unit of the Cobex power plant, which brought about 930 megawatts to the grid, and that keeps electricity in South Africa on a stable basis moving forward. Finally, in the region, Mauritius police have arrested the former central bank governor who's been declared wanted over some not fully disclosed fraud allegations while he was in office and all that. All that is being in the news. Let's move on and finish off in North Africa this Monday, the 6th of January. Egypt's budget deficit is down to 3.2% of the GDP. That was some very cheery news for President Sisi's administration for the 2024-2025 period. And there's also what they call a primary surplus in the budget, as the case may be. Sticking with the country, Egypt says it's got the first tranche of that €1 billion support from the EU. Morocco, which is the second biggest economy in the Northern Corridor, says it's seen a decline in import costs and uneven export growth. And finally, Morocco is pushing by another 2 years the deadline set for about €6 emission targets on some vehicles that the country is looking to impose. This pushes the deadline for about additional 2 more years until that €6 penalty will kick in. You got 2 more years and take the opportunity while it lasts. And that's your opening bell for today, the first trading day of the new week in the month of January. Hope you had a profitable week and a year ahead. From all of us at Frontier Africa Reports, we wish you all the best and thanks for watching.